Well, let's I want to talk about some songs on one of your albums called River of Stone.
Uh,
They're a particularly fascinating pairing of songs that I've always been very interested in. I'm not going to talk about what the songs are actually about. I'll let people listen themselves, or you can talk about them if you want. But they are Can't We All Play Together and Pancakes, which is this wonderful bookend. One is close to the beginning and one's close to the end. These are painfully personal songs. I mean, I go so far as to say, you listen and you're almost like, I can't believe that happened to you. Sorry. That's awful. But, you distance it with some humor. But even so, I mean, how did you decide to make yourself that vulnerable?
the Can't We All Play Together, ironically, was not so painful. Um, Pancakes was very painful,
Mm.
and they are about the same thing. So that's a kind of an interesting way to look at it. Can We All Play Together? Should I ever run for office? Will surely be dug up and used against me in a character smear that I may or may not deserve. But and I thought about maybe this one just doesn't need to be published. Or maybe like stick it on there as a bonus track. That way, like at the end of another song where someone would really have to dig for it to find it.
Yeah.
And even if they told you it was there, they might not know where to tell you to go because they heard it in their car. And it's like, I don't know what song it is. Like, I go looking for it and I can't find it. Uh, you know, and then I just thought the thing is, it's a pretty good little story that happens a lot to people.
Yeah.
Um, and my cousin called me up, and she had a friend who decided to have a three-way, and his girlfriend ended up liking the girl better and broke it off with him. And and that kind of thing apparently happens a fair amount in the world. It's one of those situations where careful what you wish for. You might get what you want. You find out you didn't want that at all.
Right.
And it's just a pretty good little story. And then I really liked how the recording came out. I just thought it was a really fun song, and I thought, well, you know, I may regret this. You got to ask yourself what you're going to regret more, right? Doing it or not doing it. So I took a chance, and I'm sure some people probably were like, Billy, and the people I just never owned up that yeah, that was about me. I mean, but it's not just about me; it's other people's story too.
Right.
So I always just tell people that the women in the song are metaphors for you know when you think you wanted the thing, but then you got it and you realize you didn't want that. Uh,
Okay. But then you have Pancakes. I mean, the two songs actually feed off each other, and Pancakes is much more poignant if you connect the two songs.
yes, uh, and I could play. Can't we all play together? So far, no one's ever gotten upset by it. It's a little racy, but it doesn't make generalizations about anybody. It's not. I don't know. I don't think there's anything that really people would be offended by.
Right.
Um, and in fact, it's really like as you point out, it's the exact same story that's told in Pancakes.
Yeah.
Um, I played Pancakes once at Eddie's Attic, and at the end of it, some girl in the back was listening, obviously very intently to those lyrics. And when it says you can bring your new girlfriend too, she screamed in glee.
Yeah.
And, but anyway, that's the song that would like if I didn't practice it up, it would be hard to get through without choking up.
Uh,
It's
yeah.
that
It's very sweet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
And generous of you. You know what I mean? It's got that generous feeling to it. And I'm tearing up thinking about it. I really like the song.
oh shucks. Well, thanks. I liked it when I wrote it. It was yeah, I was getting divorced. It wasn't something written in retrospect. It was written as was happening.
Yeah.
And uh, you know, um, I mean, I just remember. I don't know. When it comes to relationships and stuff, and not everybody belongs together. Some people love each other, but they don't belong together. Uh, they say the Catholic Church. I was raised Catholic. The Catholic Church used to try to keep people from getting divorced, and now they just try to keep people from getting married in the first place. And you know,
It's not a bad strategy.
yeah, I mean, that was our situation. We just did not belong together as a married couple. Wasn't such a bad thing that we got together for a while. It was a good thing for me. Um, but it needed to end. And you know, some people I think in that situation might feel very bitter, or you know, a lot of people, divorce doesn't bring out the best in anybody, does it? Nobody's at their best while they're getting divorced.
Right.
But life's going to go on, and that your paths towards happiness are independent. And so I'd rather have happy people in the world than sad or not happy people. And that's just how I felt about my ex-wife. So I like that made it into the song. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's another song that I like. It's my absolute favorite of yours, and I would be remiss not to mention it, although I wasn't able to find it on any of the albums that you currently have for sale. And that's Travel and Go. Um, I just think this is a remarkable song, really one of the best songs I've ever heard. And I love it. And yet, for me, this song doesn't sound personal. It sounds sort of universal. Like, I want to believe that these two people in the song are real, but I don't really think that it's you in there.
Well, that song is off of Riddles, which it's on Spotify, languishing in obscurity with the rest of them,
This is the new album.
from 2020.
Okay.
Yep, yeah, it's on Riddles, Travel and Go, and it's also on an album, the one that I did with John Cable in 2016, called it was titled The Red Planet, I think, When the Levee Breaks or something,
Yeah.
or the levee. And but yeah, so who is that song about? Yeah, that's the funny thing about it. Um, do you know what the Camino walks are in? Well, they end up at a church in Spain, in a little town called Santiago de Compostela,
Hmm.
and all the walking routes come from different places. Some start in Spain, some start in Portugal, some from France. They come from all around and converge. They're walking routes, and I think they're a Catholic thing. There's a movie about it called The Way, with Emilio Estevez, and but anyway, so I had at the time a sort of an on again, off again girlfriend, uh, and she and I and our mutual friend uh, walked for 12 days on one of those Camino routes in Portugal and Spain. It was like 6 days in Portugal and 6 days in Spain. It's a fantastic way to take a vacation. You're walking across beautiful country, vineyards, little towns, villages, sometimes in the city. It's very, very scenic. We went in April, and the weather was just awesome. Um, you're carrying a really light load. You stay in little hostels, or they call them albergues, little boarding houses. Sometimes you're in a room with 40 beds in it. You wear earplugs and masks, and um, you get these paper sheets to go on your mattress so that you don't get bed bugs. And I never did get it. Sometimes it's like $5, $7 a night for a room. In other cases, you rent a hotel, whatever. There's hostels where you get a kitchen that you can cook your own food, and you find a grocery store. And but you get up, eat breakfast, walk for 2 hours, leisurely pace, uh, have an ice cream sandwich and a cafe con leche, and you walk another 2 hours, and you have some beer and some lunch. You just walk all day, and the next thing you might walk 18 miles in a day. Um, but your body works up to it once you get past the blisters and all. And anyway, so that song was begun on that trail, and I you start brainstorming all your little bits and pieces, and you get the melody, and it's all kind of this. I'm not sure what the song's going to be about, but definitely little snippets of stuff on the trail. Um, and my it is very much about me. My mother has had substance abuse problems all my life, and my father is I know my parents love me, but it is anyone who's been to my house, my parents' house, knows that my dad is a weird guy. He, without abandoning his family, um, has to be in the bottom 0.5% in terms of. I mean, he would rather watch TV at any moment of the day than interact with his wife or his children. Just has an astonishingly low interest in interacting with his family. Um, and this this girlfriend that I had, her parents both were alcoholics who had to get sober. Her father never did though, but he controlled it. He just only drinks after midnight. But um, so they didn't make it as a couple, her parents. But I think I've got this right. I don't think he ever made it to one birthday party ever. And I think she was like 37 when we walked that trail. He lived right across town, but he never came to a birthday, man. And so that was her parents, and those were my parents too. Um, Fairly unavailable parents, substance abuse, other problems. And I kind of thought that I was writing the song about her, and she liked to travel. She was I mean, I like to travel too, but she really likes to travel. And I started out writing the song about her, and then I realized, no, I'm writing this song about me, and then then I showed her what I was working on, and we ended up writing the rest of it together. So I actually wrote the song with her too,
Yeah.
and so she wrote a number of the lyrics from especially the last verse, and maybe some of the bridge, but can't remember what all. There's a sheet with highlights because you have to do your split sheets for the credits and royalties and all that stuff. But yeah, so that was a really interesting song how that came about. I mean, just very unique experience that I was fortunate enough to have the chance to walk that Camino, and then this very unique person with a background a little bit similar to mine, and all that stuff just came together in a really weird way. But it actually is a very personal song, and I'll tell you when I got to some of that was recorded in the UK, some of it was recorded here, but that singer. Whose name escapes me at the moment, but when she started singing the female parts and it was just so beautiful, I just started crying because I loved that song so much, and I felt like she really brought it to life, and I was just so thrilled. Anyway, so sorry for going on and on there.
No, I'm fascinated. I love the song, and I agree with you. There's something about the two of you singing that sounds very iconic. It sounds like you could be any couple, and you're rooting for that couple. It's really great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That
Um,
song is very hard to play. It's got like I think I counted. I think it's got 31 chords in it,
yeah.
um, and
And it's like
just
7 minutes long too.
yeah, it's pretty long.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
But I mean, it never. Okay, I'm gonna go to bat for you here. Okay, yeah, 37 chords, 7 minutes long. Never flags under the weight. It never drags. It's built perfectly. It's just you never get tired ever.
uh, thanks. Yeah, there was a little tag in there that I had in my mind, and I couldn't figure out how to plug it in. And like right before, I'm like, we've got to send over a demo for this. I figured out a way to stick it in there, and um, yeah, man, I worked and worked. That bridge came in the middle of the night. I had a roommate at the time who had the saying, "Don't refuse the muse," and I'm so glad that he gave me that nugget. That is just words of wisdom to live by. Don't refuse the muse. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you hear something, you get up and you record that shit. Put that at least in your phone. But I remember I got up, man. I think I lost a whole night's sleep working on that bridge alone. But boy, was I glad I did it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's one more thing I want to talk about. And as good a songwriter as you are, I actually think you're even better at going into somebody's recording and just playing that two little measures. We talked about this earlier. You're really, really good at that. I think I've never met anybody better at that who just kind of come in and, when I listen to my own recordings and I hear your parts, I like them more than what I did. And I'm constantly discovering things about the parts that you put in there. I'm like there's this one part, like I had a line, once I was a lonesome drifter, and I'm like, oh, that guitar part, that's lonesome drifter. That's like spaghetti Western, man. He thought about that. That's really great. So talk about your approach to doing this.
Well,
Or
uh,
don't. If you think it's gonna curse you, don't do it.
oh no, no, I don't feel that way about it. I think I think when you're wearing the hat that I have to wear in that role, you try things until you get something that you think is going to stick, and um, you know, sometimes you just get lucky. And um, you're always asking yourself like, sometimes you're just spitballing, and sometimes you're like, okay, well, huh, what could I what could I do there that would fit? What does it remind you of? Well, maybe you make some connection with some, yeah, like some Clint Eastwood movie you saw or something like that.
Right.
But I think it's easy to get too much credit for being more thoughtful or more insightful than you are. You just tried something till you got something you thought would work. You're kind of like, oh, I hope he likes it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, maybe there's something to be said for the collaborative aspect of that. You're not trying to take over the record. You're really just putting stuff in there and you want to see if it works. And in fact, that's a much healthier way to create generally.
I think it really helps you. When people try to write stuff together, I think there's like you need one person has to be the alpha dog, the editor master is what I like to call him. And yeah, when so someone comes in with an album and they need me to write a bridge for their song that they can't finish, or lyrics maybe that I need a third verse. You write it. I got nothing. Um, you're writing to try to make it fit with what they've already got going on. It's their thing. You're going to be a co-creator in it, sure, but they're the editor master. They're the alpha dog. They're in charge. They have to like it. It has to pass their muster and just work with what they have. And when you're just playing musical parts on someone's song that's already written, it's the same, very much the same thing. It has to work for them, you know? And that kind of thing is different than when you're writing something together where it has to please me too, you know?
Hmm.
Um, and just being able to stand on different sides of that center line is a perspective that I think really helps. But yeah, there's definitely like you're in please yourself mode and you're in service mode. And that's when you don't get attached to things. If a guy doesn't like it and he wants something else, okay, fine. I'll see what else I can do. Maybe I'll like it better too. Maybe I won't. But whatever. Um, and you don't get I think when you're co-writing a song and maybe you've not written that many songs, you are afraid of writing a song that's a piece of crap, or like, oh God, I hate that, but you gotta have some faith, right? Like maybe it is a piece of crap, but you're gonna rewrite it, or the other person will rewrite it. And so if maybe somebody makes you redo a part and you don't like it.
Ladies
I
and
think
gentlemen, one
I think
minute, please.
I got the time bell there.
Okay.
But if something isn't working out, often the other person will come back and say, "Let's do something else there," or "I rewrote that." Here's this, and so you just go to bat for the other person and see what you can make happen for them. That's the approach.
Yeah. I appreciate you being able to articulate that because it's really, like I said, for me, a very interesting thing that you do. It took me quite aback as I had you participate with me on that. And, it also helped me learn to open up my own creativity to more collaboration. And the rewards have been there for me every time I listen to the track. So
Oh
thanks
man,
for that.
well, I always just hope people like the stuff, and um, um, I think most people listen to recordings that they're any part of, and with like, oh, I hate that, and you just hope that when you play it back, you don't have that feeling. So when people listen to stuff that I contributed to for a long time and they're like, man, I still like that makes me feel good. That makes my day.
Yeah. Well, tell us how we can find you on the internet. Tell us how we can find your projects, work with you.
Well, um, BillyGewin.com, if you can spell Gewin, Gewin, is my little poorly out of like awfully out of date website, but the email link works, and there are some videos of me playing different instruments for people. There's some pretty good backup vocal, take aparts there too, and you can get an idea what I can do for you in the studio there. And oh, I made a video called Pilot Light for one of the songs off that Riddles album we talked about, and that's on YouTube. It's called Pilot Light, Billy Gewin.
You have a YouTube channel.
I do, which languages I need to spend more time with it, but there are a few things out there. Yeah, videos of me playing guitar solos for people, um, and there's a lot of bad recordings of me singing songs at coffee houses. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's terrific. Hopefully people can find it. Do you have a web address you can give us right now?
Sure, www.billy, that's Billy, Gewin, Gewin.com.
Great. And we hope people will search you out. Billy, thank you for all you've done for me. Thank you for the conversations you've had with me in the past about music and production. I really enjoyed getting into it with you. And thanks for doing this interview. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you. It was fun to talk about all this stuff. Thanks for all the good questions.
Yeah, my pleasure. And thank you, audience, as always, for watching and listening. And if you want to say thanks to us, you can push that like button. We really need it. Our subscribers are growing, and we're excited about that. If there's something you want to hear or someone you'd like me to talk to, send me an email, and we'll see if we can get them on the show. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, Adam. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Billy.
Okay.
Bye, everybody. Thanks a lot.
There is no place I care to remember during moments of sadness or strain. I have friends who've turned into my family, from the trails between campfires and places I've been. I was all but ignored by my father, and my mother kept close to the well. When neither could offer a lullaby, starlights in the sky became summoning bells. You can walk by my side till the high fly up ahead and I leave you behind. There's a ship out to sea after every plane home. I must always be free to travel and go. When you came and sat down by my campfire, I was lonely and tired from the bugs in my bed. I could tell by the patches you'd sewn on your pack. You'd been thousands of miles and then more were ahead. I had fewer concerns than a tribesman, but for shelter and something to eat. Till you came with your tape, patched the hole in my shoe, and we laughed, lancing blisters on the soles of our feet. You can walk by my side if you don't fly ahead and you don't fall behind. There's a ship out to sea after every plane home. I must always be free to travel and go. That's why I live the life of a nomad, 'cause you can't lose a thing if a thing's never had. How I celebrated frugality until you came, and now I'm all greed. 'Cause you're making me want to keep everything.
I made sure nothing weighed on my shoulders but the walk through French fields from the town of Saint Jean. But there's some way worth making a space for, when a hand you can hold starts to feel like a home. I was writing your postcard from Santiago, just a simple I wish you were here. As the letters were blurring, I started laughing. On a train to the airport, the truth became clear. You can walk by my side if you don't fly ahead. I won't leave you behind. There's a ship out to sea after every plane home. I must always be free to travel and go. Why don't you know there's a ship out to sea after every plane home.
Give me June in San Pedro and we'll talk about Rome.
You could stop off in Cape Town if you meet me in Bali.
But there's no way in hell you get Cuba without me.
In 2 seats
Over ships,
on a plane for back home.
we'll dream of the places we'll travel and go.